everyone, welcome back to our Accounting 210. In this video, we continue with chapter 8, relevant information and decision making. So last time we talked about the third scenario, when we have a resource constraint, which product should we focus on? I don't know whether you got the answer. Have you practiced the yes or no, or you just want to look at the note with me. So let's look at this question. We have shirt, we have jeans. You know the shirt contribution margin is $18 each. Jeans contribution margin is 12. We said if there is no constraint with our resource, we should produce as many shirts as we can, because it has the higher contribution margin. But now we only have a limited machine hours. The machine can only run for that many hours. You cannot let it run 24 hours per day, right? The longest time it can run is 24 hours. So totally you have 2,000 machine hours. That's all. You cannot have more machine hours than 2,000 hours. So for 1 hour, you produce 10 units of shirts, but you produce 20 units of the jeans. So which one should we focus on? Which one should we focus on? Our criteria is we should focus on the product offers the highest contribution margin per unit of the constraint. In our this situation, it's the machine hour. It's the machine hour. Okay. So for 1 machine hour, you get 10 units of the shirts. So totally for 1 machine hour, you get $180 every machine hour. But for jeans, you get 20 units, and each one gives you $12. So for each machine hour, you get $240 for each machine hour. So in this situation, we should focus on the jeans. We should focus on the jeans. Okay, that's it. That's it. We should focus on the one that gives us the higher contribution margin per unit of the constraint. So let's look at this example. From your textbook, we know that you only have 2,000 machine hours. That's our constraint. And then our shirt, 1 hour gives us $180. For jeans, 1 machine hour gives us $240. We totally have 2,000 machine hours. So totally our contribution margin from shirts is 360,000, from jeans is 480,000. One more time, we should focus on the jeans. We should focus on the jeans. That's 8. That's 8. So I personally think this scenario is easier to understand. Nothing really fancy, not too hard, So look at your example, and then if you have any concern, read your textbook to get more details from your textbook. Okay, next one, I want to talk about the last scenario. This one is very important. You definitely will have questions in your exam or in your assignment. I think actually your My Account Lab assignment is from this part, is from this part. Okay, analyzing outsourcing, whether we should make or buy. We should make or buy decision making. So in this video, we get the general idea, and next video we go through the numbers together. First thing, you have some terminology is that you want to make your thing or you outsource. So when you outsource, that means you contract with someone who will produce the product or provide the service for you. So the outsource is just everybody. But offshoring, the other one is offshoring. Main idea is you have to be overseas. So the outsource and offshoring, they are two different things. Okay, I talk about this just in case you will have the multiple choice talking about the concept. Okay, so now let's look at this example. Something we want to think is how do our variable cost per unit compare with the outsourcing purchase price? Any fixed cost will be avoidable. If we outsource, what could we do with the freed capacity, and then what volume do we need, kind of those things. So let's look at this one. Sony is thinking about whether make it own earbuds or outsource it to China. One company, Sony produces 2 million, okay, 2 million units. Okay, so now this situation we call it a make or buy. Very classical, very important situation. Think about this. You can also, if you have a company by yourself, should you make it products by yourself or just buy from the supplier? So you have two choices, right? You can make or you don't make. If you don't make, you can buy, and then we kind of look at the difference. The way I do it kind of is like this. Your textbook has different format, but the logic is the same. So our example said, this is the data. Direct material variable cost is $4 each. You make 2 million, so you have 8 million. Direct labor, so those are variable costs, right? So you have direct material, direct labor, manufacturing overhead. So totally variable cost, variable manufacturing cost, sorry, total manufacturing cost. The variable cost is $6. Fixed cost is 4 million. So your total manufacturing cost is 16 million. You produce 2 million units. So the absorption costing said the product cost is $8 each, right? So we said, but we never use this. We should never use this price. We should use the contribution margin method. Shenzhen is willing to produce the product for $7 each. Okay, our purchase price is $7 each. Sony's full absorption cost per unit is 8, it's already said, but variable cost for each one is only 6. We got the information from there. Sony could save 500,000 if fixed cost, if we outsource, so maybe we don't need to rent the equipment, something like that, as no other use for the freed production capacity. Okay, so now let's look at our question. For the variable cost, we make or we buy, right? So we make or we buy. We can kind of look at the difference. So we first look at the variable cost. For variable cost, if we make, we said the variable cost is $6 each. We totally produce 2 million. So if we make, our variable cost is $12 million. It's $12 million. It's $12 million, right? It's $12 million here. But if we buy, the variable cost will become our purchase price. Actually, it's our purchase price, right? So if you buy, you have to pay money, right? You have to pay money. So our purchase price for our buy, each one is $7, and we buy 2 million units. So the variable cost under buy will be 14 million. So we have a difference of 2 million here. We have a difference is 2 million here. That's our variable cost. So our fixed cost, if we make, total is 4 million, right? So if we make, we have to pay 4 million. If we buy, we can save $500,000. If we buy, we can save $500,000. Okay, so if we buy, our total cost will be 4 million minus 500,000. That gives us 3.5 million, right? So if we make, we have to pay the 4 million. If we buy, we save 500,000, so it's only 3.5 million. So we have a difference of 500,000. Now we look at our total variable cost. Total relevant cost. Sorry about that. So we look at our total relevant cost. For make, variable cost 12 million, fixed cost is 4 million, so it's 16 million. For buy, purchase price is 14 million, fixed cost is 3.5 million, so it's 17.5 million. You tell me which one you should focus on. If you make, cost is 16 million. If you buy, cost is 17.5 million. Remember, this is the cost, right? It's not the revenue. Larger number means you have more cost. if we make cost is 16 million, if we buy cost is 17.5 million. So we should make, because the cost is $1.5 million less, $1.5 million less. So our rule of thumb is we compare the relevant cost of make with the relevant cost of buy. So if the cost of make is less, we just make, right? We just make. On the other side, if the cost of make is more than cost of buy, then we should go ahead and buy. So this is from your textbook. The format is like this. We just talk about exactly the same. Textbook give you another format. It said if we use cost benefit analysis. So we said variable cost, it uses the same, but you compare the purchase price with the variable cost. You can say each one actually the cost is $1 more for variable cost. So your total incremental variable cost, your total incremental cost for the outsourcing is 2 million, because for each one, 7 minus 6, this is the difference, right? This is the incremental is 1 million. So your total incremental is 2 million. So your total incremental cost is 2 million, but you have a fixed cost saving. You have fixed cost saving is 500,000. So you have more cost than the saving. Your total incremental cost is 2 million. Your total cost saving from the fixed cost is 500,000. So your extra cost from outsourcing is 1.5 million. So if you outsource, you have to pay extra 1.5 million, because you don't pay 2 million more, you save 500,000. So your net extra incremental cost of outsourcing is 1.5 million. In that way, we should make, because outsourcing is 1.5 million more than making. Okay, so decision rule, we talk about that. If the incremental cost of make is more than incremental cost of outsourcing, we should outsource. If incremental cost of making is less than incremental cost of outsourcing, we should just make. Okay, if we should just make if it's less than outsourcing. Okay, I think I talked too much. I think really nothing really fancy, as long as you understand the concept of being relevant. And then the way I do it is I usually put 3 columns, make, buy, or the difference. But if your textbook has different format, I'm sorry, for your assignment, you have to follow that format. Next video, I think, will be the last video of our handout, and then we will talk about our assignment. Next video, we talk about very, 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 very important concept. It's called opportunity cost. I don't know whether you know this idea, yes or no. If you know it, that's perfect. If you don't know it, read your textbook first before you watch the video. Very, very, very important concept. Okay, I see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.